Well, you were something like 16 when you formed Papa Roach. It's over like 22 years ago or something like that. And you've, of course, seen the whole music business changing during this time. And actually, Gene Simmons of Kiss, I don't know if you read this interview or have heard about this, but quite recently got asked if the industry disappoints him. And he actually mentioned that it's not the industry, it's the fans. It's disappointing because they would prefer not to support a new band and fans killed it. How do you see this kind of a comment?
Well, I can understand his point in a sense of it's I don't know, but there's a lot of young bands that kids are discovering. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like it's just they're discovering it in a different way. Music has just changed essentially, you know, and how people get music has changed. You know, people are subscribing to Spotify now, which is the one thing that I feel that's different is that back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and 2000, people bought records, you know what I mean? And that was people investing money into a band that they believed in. Yeah. And I would say, you know, at this point in time in the music business, the most important thing and the best thing you can do as a fan for your favorite bands is to buy their music, because what it does is it sends a message to the industry who's killing it. You know what I'm saying? Because if all the rock kids are and all the punk kids are file sharing, the industry looks at it and goes, oh, well, rock and metal just doesn't mean shit anymore. Only pop does because the people are buying that. Yeah. But the reality is they did a study on Spotify and they found that metal music and rock music are the most popular forms of music on Spotify. Yeah. Pop is way down here. Yeah. Hip hop is down here. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a very popular style of music. It's just the industry doesn't see it as that because it's not the genre that sells the most records. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. Like you look at the dynamic of music right now and fuck man, live rock and roll, dude. That's where it lives, you know?
Yeah. You have 3 kids at home, 3 boys. What kind of music they listen to? What kind of music they dig?
Oh, dude. You know, it's like my little baby, my 2-year-old baby, he doesn't care about anything but Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? He loves Mickey Mouse, anything Mickey Mouse. Yeah. Jagger, my 10-year-old, he loves Slipknot, Weezer, AC/DC, Bruno Mars, and like, what else does he really like? What was the new one he was getting into? Obviously, he loves Papa Roach too. Of course. But he's very eclectic. He listens to pop, hip hop, and heavy metal. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually, when I go home, I just got a double kick pedal for the drum set because we have a drum set at home. We both play drums. Yeah. And he's like, I want to learn how to play Slipknot songs. I'm like, here you go, dude. Double kick pedal. You know what I'm saying? You got your work cut out for you. My oldest son, when it comes to music, his favorite group is The Prodigy. I took him on tour last summer throughout Europe, and last time we were in Europe, I brought him out with me, and we saw Prodigy like 4 times, and he was just blown away, and he loves that band. Yeah. And A Day to Remember, that's his other favorite band. And I ran into those guys on the street today. Really? I saw Kevin, the guitar player, Kevin and Josh, the bass player. Yeah. And out on the street, I'm like, what are you guys doing here? I'm playing a festival tomorrow. So I think a couple of those guys might come down tonight.
Awesome. So like mentioned, Papa Roach was formed like 22 years ago. What has been the high point of careers of yours so far?
You know, we've had a few different high points. I think that when we released our 3rd CD as an independent band, which was called Let 'Em Know, we tallied up, we sold 10,000 records as an independent band. And so for us, that was a high point because we were selling those out the trunk of our car, person to person. We used to go when Korn would come around, we'd go around with a boombox and play our music and sell it to the people in line getting into the show. And so that was a high point for us, you know, when we reached that 10,000 mark. And then, you know, we got a record deal and we sold, you know, after that we sold upwards of 10 million records of Infest, and that was like, oh my God, that's a high point. And then the next thing you know, our second record come out and the industry looked at us as a failure, and then we came out with a record called Getting Away with Murder, and in America we sold over 1.5 million records, and that was huge for us, you know, and the industry looked at us as this band's over with, this band's done. And Scars has been our biggest song in America charting ever. And so we've had some high points. And, you know, for us at this point, it's those micro victories about going on a tour and gaining new fans, or seeing a video hit X amount of million views, you know, and so there's a lot of different ways to find high points in this business.
Well, how about the biggest challenge?
I'd say the biggest challenge is to maintain relevance as a rock and roll band, and to maintain sanity on the fucking road. Because, dude, you can lose your fucking head out here, dude. It's a wild place to live, you know, and it's like, sometimes you're like, get into a venue and you're like, oh, there's no shower, so how am I going to shower today? You're like, all right, I'll go to the sink and wash my armpits off, put my head in, you know. So there's always a challenge, you know, and so it's like, you just try to, in those moments, you're just like, I gotta be grateful, man. I love fucking rock and roll, you know. So it's that's the challenge. Maintain gratitude in this business.
Yeah. Well, you are 38 years old right now, and you started the band when you were 16, like mentioned. But if you could go now back in time and meet you when you were 16, what kind of advice you would give to yourself?
I wouldn't give my younger self any advice. I would save my fucking breath, because the younger me would have just not listened. I'd be like, yeah, cool, dude, sounds good, whatever. I'm doing my thing, I'll be over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
live and learn.
Yeah, exactly. That's how my life has been. Just live and learn. Yeah. And sometimes the hard way, a lot of the times the hard way. Unfortunately, now I'm like, oh, what? Do you have advice? Let me listen.